Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainians announced that they have developed those long-range missile systems that are capable of hitting targets at about 1,000 kilometers. And then they said, no, actually, it's about 500 kilometers, and then they say 700 kilometers. Nevertheless, long-range missiles, they can hit Moscow, clearly. Okay? Well, that's fine. It's within their right to develop their military and capabilities, especially when they were attacked by the Russians. So, but there's a little problem. We are told that Ukrainians were just sitting ducks and did not have any negative intentions towards Russia. The Russians, on the other hand, before last year's invasion, unprovoked invasion, okay? So we use in terms of, the scripture here, the dogma that is supposed to be universal. But we find out that actually, and the Russians said, no, the Ukrainians are arming themselves for this. And the guy says, no. They are not arming themselves for anything. They are a peaceful country, and that's it. It doesn't mean that they do not get ready for, defending their country or something. But the Russians specifically said, we need to disarm these guys because of the threat that their location, geographical location, and with the help of NATO, one day will move their little military infrastructure in Ukraine, which is going to be much, much closer to our target, to our missiles defense systems and capabilities. And through this little article here, I think this again confirms that the Ukrainians were developing these weapons way before the war started. Why I say way? Because it began in 2020. So the Ukrainians, with the help of the Western scientists and military, know-how, they started doing that in 2020. Well, they were 2 years in the making? Nevertheless, they started that, as I said in previous videos. They were helped by this kind of technology. You just don't develop it just like this. But, well, I'm not going to get in that one because that, for me, it's unimportant who helped you. The problem is you have it right now. I mean, it's important because you say, okay, these guys were involved. But we're not going to find out now. They're going to say it's all Ukrainian. Okay, all Ukrainian. But you were arming yourselves in 2020. And the Russians were right about that one. But you say, yeah, but we did it in self-defense. Well, did you expect anything? You were supposed to implement the Minsk agreements then, if I remember correctly. And wasn't Zelensky the one who said he's going to implement them at first and going to bring peace in Donetsk, Luhansk and all that? Is this the peace he referred to? Like we're going to create all this and then we're going to push the Russians out and going to have peace? Is that what he thought? Because if he thought that's going to be the future and the vision, then what are you going to do with the people that didn't want to be with you in the first place after 2014? Not with you necessarily, but with the Kiev government after 2014. Wasn't that the reason why these guys said, we don't recognize the coup leaders in Kiev? Like these guys don't recognize them in Niger, but somehow they recognize it in Kiev in 2014? Why is that? Oh, it was organized by the right people, but over there it's organized by the wrong people. Okay, so let's look at this little article here, coming from the New Voice of Ukraine, and you can see this weasel's scalp right there. And it says, new Ukrainian missile already in operation. Development began in 2020. So the missile is already in operation. It's a very coincidental situation. This is Danilov. Look at that guy. That's your boss. And you tell him that you can't work tomorrow overtime. And this guy's going to say, oh, okay, all right. Yeah. So it's in operation right now. Something that began in 2020. And it's a coincidence that now the Ukrainians are supposed to receive the Taurus missiles from the Germans that go about 500 kilometers, similar because that's long-range missile systems, or rockets, missiles actually, not rockets. So is it just a coincidence? I said it before, these guys are going to use Western provided missiles, and they're going to say that's ours, our production. And when the Russians going to say no, it's actually a Taurus or it's whatever, an American made, How are you going to prove it? These guys on the mass media say, no, that's not true. No, they will not even have the debate to start with. Why? Look how they, these guys, the free mass media in the world, in the Western world, took the side of whatever Ukraine said about the Kakhovka dam. Remember when the Kakhovka dam was blown up by someone? The Ukrainians said, so we didn't know who did it. The Ukrainians said in the first 5 minutes after it exploded, it collapsed, it was the Russians. In 7 minutes, the media in the West said, yes, Russians blew the Kakhovka bridge. And if you ask people who blew that up, they're going to tell you the Russians blew it up. Do you have any evidence? Yeah, they're bad in general. So everything that happens in a neighborhood, if you have an ex-con, a person who serves time somewhere, anything that happens must be that guy, right? That's the logic here, but nobody else. And just because these guys claim it was the Russians, why do you take that as a face value? Like, oh yeah, it is. Again, this is the level of our media here. It's not media, it's the propaganda. Pushing a certain kind of narrative towards, the population to form an opinion by some weasels. And I talk about the Russian propaganda. It's everywhere propaganda. I mean, anyway, let's see what details Mr. Your boss gives us about this situation. The recently unveiled Ukrainian missile that will hit Moscow, featured in a recent test video release, is already in active deployment, with its development efforts dating back to 2020. Alexei Reznikov, Alexei Danilov, National Security and Defense Council Secretary, said on blah 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 blue blue blue. Okay, so let's see what this is. Actually, I don't want to do it. Okay, I didn't want to play this video because I didn't know what to expect. And it's going to be half of it. So this is 20 seconds, a video of 20 seconds. And it has half of it, so 10 seconds would be, I'm assuming, a Ukrainian talking, and then counting, and then a missile fired. So let's look at this. They're very proud of themselves, obviously. Два. Один, no. Pushk. All right, so here it is. Good for you guys. That's the defense system. So that's not killing people. It's just defending ourselves. Or, I don't know, defending ourselves by eliminating the enemy. Because in self-defense, supposedly you can do almost anything you want. Another idiotic proposition. And I'm quoting, the first presidential directive regarding this program was issued on March 1st, 2020. It's important to note that we were already preparing the necessary NSDC decision on this matter in February-March 2020, end quote, Danilov said, highlighting the intricate nature of missiles development, Jesus Christ. Danilov emphasized that creating such a sophisticated weapon capable of covering thousands of kilometers, required the collaborative efforts of substantial teams. So I read it, the teams being our allies. And then if it's thousands of kilometers, think of this, my friends. What the hell is that yellow shit over there? All right. Now Biden. From bad to worse. There you go. Why not like this? Because we can do this. Think about this. A handgun or, a knife could be used to cut, tomatoes, or could be used for something else. And that something else could be this person today, and that could be that person tomorrow. So these missiles that are capable of hitting things at thousands of miles away could be used to be turned from the east towards west or whomever they want. Do you think that if these guys want to go rogue with everything they got right now, and they will be capable of having in the future, is going to be another Afghanistan, Mujahideens, and then Al-Qaeda, and then ISIS? I don't know. I don't know, but think about, unless you think that these guys are Jesus Christ and they will be all good, once, and I think you have the evidence, once you, and I will provide you one, once you don't give these guys, don't feed the monster anymore, you don't give him what they want, the kick, they will turn against you and say, hey, you owe me that. You should give me that. You don't give me, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to give you one example to show you how these Ukrainians, whatever they are over there, they are very, oh, please give me help, please give me, if you want me to fight your war, and otherwise the Russians will be in your countries tomorrow, actually, you owe me. That's how they put the things. And it's okay, we're going to give you aid. Aid, and some of them is just help. I'm not going to ask for any money back. I'm just giving to you. And I remember when the Russians were in, they said they made a payment for gas that was sending via the transit pipes that go over Ukraine and that are not shut down somehow, go towards blown up like Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. They were going to Hungary, Slovakia, I think it was Poland, Germany, I think, and then the Ukrainians did not receive the transit payment from the Russians because of SWIFT and other little financial complications, the connections and communication. And what did the Ukrainians do this next day? That gas was helping people, countries that they were giving them aid. They shut off the pipe. Right there. They said, no, they didn't pay, you don't get gas, you're going to be dying. No, don't buy oil, don't buy gas from the Russians, but give us weapons. The second they got their thing unfulfilled, or we didn't receive the money from the Russians giving you gas in this, turn it off. I really don't care about what happened to your children. I don't care if you have anything over there. So it was all business. But on the other hand, with the other half of mouth, give me, you owe me, give me, you owe me. So what do you think these guys will do when the West will decide to pull the plug off? Do you think they will just lay down and die? Or they'll say, you know what, yes, we're going to do, what if they say no? Well, I hope it doesn't happen. But here we have further here, let me just finish this article. We do not target kindergarten, hospitals, or other civilian facilities. This sets us apart significantly from the terrorists located near us. All right, and he says that Zelensky announced on August 31st that long-range Ukrainian missile weaponry had successfully struck Russian occupant targets from a distance of 700 kilometers. The specific target remains undisclosed. To provide context, 700 kilometers is approximately the distance from Ukraine to Pskov, where explosions occurred at an airfield overnight on August 30th. Yeah, and then the Ukrainians came and said, actually, no, it was, there were drones, and they were launched from inside Russia, not from Estonia or Latvia. No. It was from inside Russia, and we didn't do it from Ukraine. So what are they talking about? It's just all this kind of, the problem is this, they will have these missiles. Are they called Taurus? Are they called, I don't know, Scalp, the French, Storm Shadow, the British? They're going to give them attacks, whatever, American ones, whatever they're going to give them. They're going to have it. And they're going to use it, not on civilians, no, only on Moscow. And then when that's going to happen, I'm going to say, target hit in Moscow. And the Moscow, we're going to say, the guys in Moscow are going to say you again, buildings, residential buildings destroyed, and this guy's going to report it here. They were hit, an attack. Not a terrorist. That's not a terrorist because these guys are doing it. And I'm supposed to root for this? No, call it as it is. Because the things are not black, white, plus, minus, good, bad. So anyway, yeah, these guys have that missile. Regardless, my point is they were developing it before they pulled out of Minsk agreements. Why was that? Just a coincidence, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. The order was given. Let's finish this thing up. The guy that is going to get elected by the Ukrainian people is not going to implement anything. These guys are going to, how do you call it, unprovoked invade you because that's how the way they are, right? They don't terrorists, whatever. And then we're going to use these things. And then we're going to solve the problem. And who's making money? Not you. I mean, they all make money over there. Not all. I have a gut feeling that some guys in control over there of Ukraine will come out very wealthy, or rich, not wealthy, rich after this ends, regardless of the outcome. And then we're going to say what? So what if we say? They will not care. They will not give us that information unless those guys don't follow orders anymore. But hey, it's taken from me, given to them, because in democracy that's what you do. You vote one time and those guys take care of your resources for 4 years. Can you protect yourself? No. Wait, work within the system. Vote again in 4 years for another one who's going to do the same thing to you, with another name, other shitty face, and so on. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.